Welcome back to the deep dive. Great to have you with us as we, cut through the noise and get straight to the insights from some really compelling research and notes. Today, we're plunging into a topic that's just so foundational for any successful organization. It's quality and people. But paradoxically, it often gets less strategic attention than, say, processes or products themselves. It's essential, absolutely, but maybe frequently underexamined in terms of how things truly work and, how they thrive. So our mission for this deep dive is really to explore how some leading models and frameworks don't just sort of mention the human dimension, they actively emphasize it as the core engine for achieving quality. We're moving beyond the simple what's of quality and really digging into the who and the how behind it all. We've got some fantastic sources that zero in on specific models, and they review this critical, sometimes, well, surprising connection between people, their development, and those big overarching business goals.
That's such a crucial distinction you make there. Because when you think of quality, just off the top of your head, what comes to mind? For a lot of us, I think it immediately jumps to the end product, right? The flawless phone, the perfectly engineered bridge, maybe exceptional customer service. But what's truly fascinating here, and what these sources really bring to light, is how fundamentally intertwined quality is with the people. The people who design, build, deliver, and even receive that product or service. Their skills, their development, their involvement. And as we'll see, it goes even beyond the immediate organization to a much wider group of stakeholders. That's the real landscape of quality we're going to navigate today.
Okay, then, let's unpack this. We're starting our exploration with investors and people. It's a framework originated in the UK, and it's become a globally recognized standard now. Lots of organizations say people are their greatest asset, right? But investors and people, or IIP, it demands a real explicit commitment. It goes far beyond just lip service. What's the maybe subtle but significant difference between just thinking you value your employees and truly embodying that foundational pledge IIP is looking for? I mean, what happens when that commitment isn't genuinely embedded?
Yeah, you've really hit on the core truth there. It's not just about having a mission statement somewhere that says our people are our priority. IIP actually assesses whether that commitment is truly, well, resourced and embedded from the very top leadership downwards. It's about leadership explicitly recognizing that investing in people isn't just a cost center. It's a strategic investment, one that directly contributes to organizational performance. And without that unwavering, visible pledge backed up by tangible resources, consistent communication, well, any subsequent efforts in training or development can just feel like a tick box exercise. People might perceive it as a burden, not a genuine growth opportunity. It really signals to everyone that human capital is valued not just in theory, but as a key strategic asset for achieving tangible business outcomes. It ensures alignment, top down.
Absolutely, that makes sense. So, okay, with that commitment firmly in place, the next logical step isn't just, right, let's train everyone on something, is it?
No, definitely not.
We move on to the second principle, planning. This is where an organization outlines how the skills of individuals and teams are going to be developed. It seems to demand foresight, not just reacting to immediate problems. How does IIP ensure this planning is truly strategic? Not just a kind of compilation of individual training requests that pop up.
Well, the planning aspect is absolutely crucial because it ties everything directly in to the organization's overarching strategic objectives. It really has to. It's about anticipating future needs, like you said, not just reacting to current skill gaps. IIP encourages a really systematic approach. So identifying where the organization needs to be in, say, 2, 5, maybe even 10 years, and then designing targeted interventions that build the specific capabilities required to meet those strategic goals. This prevents wasted resources, ensures every development activity has a clear purpose, and critically, it gives employees a clear line of sight. They can see how their personal growth connects to the company's overall trajectory. It's about building a dynamic capability, not just filling isolated skill deficits here and there.
Right, building capability. And from that meticulous planning, we move right into action. Makes sense. This principle focuses on the actual implementation, developing, and using those necessary skills. And the source describes it as through a well-defined and continuous program, not just a one-off course, but an ongoing journey. What are some of the practical challenges organizations might face in turning that well-planned development into a truly continuous, impactful program? One that actually aligns with those business objectives.
Yeah, the emphasis on action and a continuing program is key. It highlights that skill development is iterative, it's a process, not some final destination. A really significant challenge, I think, is integrating learning into the daily workflow. So it doesn't feel like this separate thing, this add-on. IIP looks for evidence that skills acquired aren't just for the individual's growth, though that's important, that are immediately put to use to actually drive organizational performance. This often means creating a culture of coaching, maybe mentoring, lots of on the job application. And the continuous element means regular reviews, updates, adapting programs as business needs inevitably evolve. It's about embedding learning right into the fabric of how work gets done. Without that, well, even the best plans can just fall flat because the skills aren't practiced or reinforced.
Embedding it, that makes sense. And finally, the fourth principle, it seems to tie it all together, kind of closing the loop, evaluating outcomes. So this is about rigorously assessing the results of all that training and development. We're looking at individual progress, yes, but also, crucially, the impact on the goals of the organization as a whole. It really asks us to consider the measurable impact. What are some common traps organizations fall into when they're evaluating this? And how does IIP push them to go beyond just, those simple satisfaction surveys to truly understand if investing in people actually move the needle for the business?
Yeah, exactly. Without robust evaluation, the entire cycle just loses its effectiveness and its accountability. A really common trap is focusing only on those happy sheet surveys. Did people enjoy the training? Was the coffee good? IIP demands a much deeper dive. It asks you to look at how individual performance has actually changed, what new skills are being actively applied on the job, and critically, how do these translate into tangible business benefits? Things like improved productivity, maybe reduced errors, higher innovation rates, better customer satisfaction scores, or even increased revenue. It's fundamentally about measuring the ROI on human capital. It closes that loop by providing real data that informs future commitments and future planning, ensuring the investment is continuously optimized and truly contributing to the bottom line, not just seen as an expense.
What's truly illuminating about the entire investors in people framework, if we just take a step back for a second, is how incredibly explicit it is. It ties every single aspect of human development, right from that initial leadership commitment through to the final evaluation, directly back to achieving concrete business objectives. It just strips away any notion of, training just for training's sake. It presents human development as a strategic engine for quality, driven by people and focused on measurable impact. So, okay, IIP gives us this really powerful internal roadmap for developing an organization's most valuable asset, its people. But what happens when we step back even further, beyond the company's four walls, and consider the entire ecosystem that influences and is influenced by quality? That's where our second source, the EFQM Excellence Model, really broadens our perspectives, offers a fascinating expansion of this whole idea.
Yeah, that's a massive shift in scope, moving from IIP to EFQM, the EFQM Excellence Model. It was developed by the European Foundation for Quality Management. It's a nonprofit established by a group of leading European companies, and their overarching goal, broadly stated, is to help European businesses make better products and deliver improved services through the effective use of leading-edge management practices. So while it's definitely rooted in practical business improvement, its definition of excellence is notably wider than just internal focus.
Right, and a key distinction you flagged from the EF2M model, right from the source material, is that people are very much part of this wider quality picture. Now, when you hear wider quality picture, especially coming from a quality framework, it suggests, well, a scale beyond just the internal workings of a company or its immediate employees. What does EFQM actually mean by broadening the definition of who people are in the context of quality?
Well, this is where EFQM delivers a really crucial insight, I think. It moves significantly beyond just the employees within the organization, or even just shareholders and customers, who are the typical stakeholders we think about. EFQM makes a clear case that company stakeholders include not only its employees, shareholders, and customers, but also, and this is very significant, the community as a whole. This is a profound reframe, really, because it means true excellence isn't just about internal efficiency or customer satisfaction scores. It also demands a positive impact on the broader society and the environment the company operates in. So an organization's quality is judged not only by its products or services, but also by its contribution to the well-being of the communities it's part of.
Wow, that is a fascinating expansion. So while IIP is intensely focused on developing internal people to achieve specific business goals, EFQM brings the community in as a stakeholder in quality. But does EFQM also guide organizations on how to sort of internally empower their own employees to drive excellence, similar to IIP's structured approach, or does it take a different angle on internal human capital development?
Well, it absolutely does address internal people, but perhaps with a slightly different emphasis compared to IIP's more, let's say, prescriptive journey. EFQM has dedicated people criteria right within its framework. It looks at them both as enablers, so how the organization manages, develops, and involves its people, and also as results, what the organization actually achieves regarding its people. For instance, under people enablers, it looks at things like, well, developing and engaging people, managing their careers effectively, fostering an inclusive culture. It's maybe less about the very specific step-by-step process of training, like in IIP, and more about creating an overall environment where people feel intrinsically motivated and empowered to contribute to excellence. Then the people results part measures the outcomes of these efforts. It's similar in a way to IIP's evaluation, but often with a broader lens that includes things like employee engagement, well-being, overall satisfaction, not just skills directly linked to immediate business goals. So you could say while IIP is really about doing development strategically, EFQM is more about creating a culture where people thrive and naturally contribute to excellence.
Okay, that clarifies the difference. So bringing it all together, what does this mean for you listening? Whether you're an employee or a customer or just simply a member of a community where a business operates. It really encourages a much broader, maybe more sophisticated reflection on the shared responsibility for quality, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It's not just the company's problem or success in isolation. It impacts us all in different ways.
Absolutely. And it raises this important question, doesn't it? While investors in people provides that focused, really actionable framework for internal human capital development to hit specific business goals. EFQM broadens that lens quite considerably. It suggests that true excellence, comprehensive quality management, must consider this even wider circle of human impact and influence. That includes society at large. Both models, however, and this is the key takeaway, I think, both firmly place people at the absolute center of the quality universe, whether we're talking about direct employees, the whole supply chain, or the community that experiences the company's presence. They simply offer different, but you could argue complementary, pathways to understanding and achieving that human-centric quality.
Wow. Yeah, what a journey we've been on today. We've really done a deep dive into the profound and clearly multifaceted role of people in achieving quality. We started by looking at how organizations can structure that internal development to meet business goals using investors and people. We saw the emphasis on accountability, continuous improvement. Then we zoomed right out to see how the EFQM Excellence Model really pushes us to consider not just internal excellence, but that broader societal impact of quality, redefining who truly counts as a stakeholder. It just reinforces that quality is really at its heart a human endeavor, shaped by commitment, planning, action, and evaluation, extending all the way from individual growth to community well-being. Thank you so much for joining us on this exploration today.
And just as you go about your day, maybe I can leave you with a final thought to mull over. The next time you engage with a product or a service, maybe even just observe a business operating in your community, consider this. Beyond the immediate transaction, beyond the obvious employees you might see, what investments in people have really contributed to that experience? Think about both the internal investments, the development, the empowerment we talked about, and the external ones into the community, those broader societal contributions. How is the community itself acting as a stakeholder in the quality you encounter? And maybe flip it. How does that company, in turn, contribute to the community's overall quality of life?
Fantastic food for thought indeed. Carry these insights with you, and we'll catch you on the next deep dive.